All right, folks, welcome back to another episode of Into the Lion's Den. This is a special episode. We have a new guest with us. This is John, the founder, Young, of one of the founders, co-founders of Abbott and Wallace Distilling Company. Into the Lion's Den is brought to you proudly by Pride Roofing and Construction and Level Creative Studios. That's a soundbite. You're supposed to do the row. All right, so welcome in, John. It's a pleasure to get to meet you and talk to you for a little bit. Generally, when we have an interview of any sort, we just like to, I guess, open it up to you to introduce yourself and plug your brand and kind of just tell us a little bit about the business that you run and the life that you live.
Thanks so much for having me today up here, Christian. I'm John Young with Abbott Wallace Distilling Company. You gave me a little introduction there. We're a little craft distillery down the road in Longmont, Colorado, and we focus on producing craft spirits from locally sourced grains. We work with local farmers to make our bourbon, rye, gin, rum, among other things. And we've been working with Lachlan here in Level Creative Studios for many years, so it's a cool opportunity to kind of collaborate and come up here and talk to you today.
Yeah, a little collaboration, a little synchronization. It's going to be pretty cool. So I guess, what got you into distilling? What got you into the business?
Well, long story short, it started with a home brewing kit, and I was one of many suckers to get the bug and get into home brewing, and one thing led to another. I moved out to Colorado in 2011, chasing the dream, like, I'm going to start a brewery, and thought I'd work for a brewery first and kind of learn the ins and outs. And got a job for Avery Brewing down in Boulder and enjoyed it so much. I was like, hey, called up my buddy HK, you got to get your ass out here. It's amazing. And he got a job for Upslope Brewing in Boulder as well. And he met a distiller. They started talking and started a business making the distillation equipment. And I got one of their first stills, started taking beer from the brewery and moonshining it. Yeah. Running it through the still, and
you're a runner. All right.
It was like, hey, this is tasting pretty good. And we kind of saw the writing on the wall with all the breweries out there, and distilling seemed to suit our interest and skill set a little bit better. So that's the skinny of it. Here we are. We were founded in 2015, and 10 years later, it's hard to believe. Goodness gracious!
No, congratulations. It's a big milestone. It's a big milestone in general for business owners. Crossing that mark means you're better than 9 out of 10 people who've tried. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's not been easy getting here, being a consumer-facing business or retail business and getting through COVID startup, then a worldwide pandemic has not been easy on us. But we've had a great community here on the Northern Front Range, Longmont in particular, but some spots here in Loveland, and we're happy to be here and finally, hopefully, hitting our stride.
Yeah, well, I feel like I've known you for forever because Lachlan talks about you constantly. He's definitely got a affinity for your business and what you've done for him, with the marketing efforts and stuff like that. So I'm excited for you to be here. Funny story. I actually was very interested in brewing, just like I guess everybody else in Colorado. When I was in college, I had it was my microbiology professor and my organic chemistry professor were joint owners of the Gunnison Brewery, and I was sort of a nerd. And I very much hung out with my professors just about as much as my peers. And I ended up teaching those guys CrossFit and some other stuff. And we kind of all just created a nice little pack. And they eventually told me they wanted to support me owning, like transferring ownership of it. So, buying it from them, apprenticeship and that kind of stuff. But that kind of fell through. Part of that was probably my alcoholism. So it's kind of funny that one of our guests, I'm interviewing you. I will unfortunately not be able to partake in any of your crafted things.
Yeah.
But that's just because I make poor decisions when it comes to that kind of stuff. Right. So But it's a pretty cool. I'm fascinated by fermentation in general. I think that the entire process is just, well, it's a nerd's paradise, and the fact that you can journal and be better every single day, make new things, make new tastes, make new everything. Just let's just add a little bit here. We're gonna write that down and see what happens. I think that's pretty creative. So, that being said, there are some segmented episode notes that Lachlan would like to take us through, but this one here is foundations of craftsmanship. So we want to discuss in this portion of the episode the importance of quality craftsmanship, both in distilling and in roofing. Our audience, whoever they may be, we have a lot of subscribers, but we have a lot of randos, but they know a lot about the arts, the craftsmanship of what we do. So I thought maybe we'd put that in first with you. So tell us a little bit about, I guess, just the craftsmanship, the amount of time and dedicated energy that goes into just building the product, let alone actually getting it in front of your consumers, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, distilling and doing it the old-fashioned way is definitely a labor of love, and we pour a lot of passion to the products that we make. I think back to the history and origins of distillation, and it was about preserving your local crop, and it was much more efficient to distill it down into its essential spirits, and you could store it, transport it, and it was cheaper and would often get you a higher margin. But anyways, that was very important for us to work with local farmers and create a local or Colorado product that was a reflection of its terroir, of its kind of local identity and local expression. And not everyone does that, and it is hard to find your farmer, work with the right guys, test different grains, and then process, ferment, distill, and then age for many years. These aren't products that we're churning out every couple days. It's at best a month, and really, as long as time allows, 3-4 years in the making plus.
So I'm assuming you have some kind of warehouse or something for this inventory that you've been pushing out for a while.
Yeah, we have a little barrel warehouse. It's just in the back of our space. It's all one contiguous space. And we have a little over 100 barrels back there that I have to rotate and pull barrels. We're filling barrels, we're pulling barrels, and getting a forklift back there in our small space and moving that's like, here's my life's work in the air. No stress at all. But it usually works out okay. The walls might have some bumps and bruises, but we haven't lost any barrels yet. So,
I'll knock on wood for you.
Right. Thank you.
So, what piqued my interest the most, back in the day. So I've been sober for right about 4.5 years, something like that. But that was one of my favorite pastimes. Was kind of just, I don't know, surfing around, doing the brew tours, finding out who had what types of options and so on and so forth. Now, obviously, I didn't do a whole lot of tasting when it comes to distilling products and things like that. It was mostly beer that I was focused on. But either way, one of the things that I liked the most is when I could get a story out of the people at the brewery. These are the farmers that we use, and this is the why we've picked this and so on and so forth, because it showed me not only the dedication to the craft, but the love they have for not just the product, but for the process in general. I think that's pretty cool. It's a testament to you guys as, just your personality. I don't know you well, but I know that you care just by that simple statement, right? So I guess let's boil down one of the points that you brought up. So a lot of this stuff, you got 100 barrels in the back, and you guys are, you opened up your space, your bar, and you have a lot of participants. Was it difficult for you to? Are you an owner operator, or have you since separated yourself a little bit from the business in terms of allowing people to take some of that pride onto their own shoulders with the craftsmanship of what you're making?
Well, I am certainly an owner-operator. I do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
As you can imagine, being a small business owner, you're not so small business. I'm not so sure. You guys are doing all right in the roofing world.
We try. Yeah.
But yeah, you wear a lot of hats, and you get your hands dirty. And I'm currently I'm our head distiller and making the products. We've had various head distillers that are running production, but I get to do that right now. But when it comes to our, forward-facing retail business, we have a bar manager and then some very talented bartenders. And I really love them having their ownership on the bar, having their own expressions, and really owning that piece of the business. And that is our biggest part of the business. We do a little bit of distribution sales, but most of it's coming in our front door.
Sure.
And we want our employees, and even Lachlan on the creative side. I mean, hey, we're going to give you some creative freedom to bring our brand to life. And I think that's been definitely a hallmark of our success in keeping our employees engaged and excited and proud of what we're doing.
Yeah. We do wear a lot of hats. You kind of just have to fill in where you need to fill in at any given time. But that's one of the struggle points that I've found in business is not being willing to give up the wheel very, very easily. There's about 100 wheels, but I don't want to give up any one of them.
Right.
you know. So what kind of qualification processes do you have for these people that you've entrusted to bring, I guess their personality into your brand?
Yeah, and I think it all starts with that personality that you mentioned, and making sure it's the right fit for us, and that we're definitely a pretty laid back brand, and we want our space to be warm and welcoming. Experience is really nice, especially if we're looking for production help. This experience is absolutely necessary, and then someone to lead our bar team. But when it comes to staff in general, it's like, hey, you need to be a fit for us, and be a team player, and kind of have a good feel for how we work. And we like to have a lot of fun, but that comes after putting in the effort and putting in your time and earning it. So, we do a very brief interview process. We try and filter through candidates, have those few that we think are qualified or that'll be a good fit. And then we try and just get them working instantly. It's like, all right, we're going to do a working interview, and you're kind of going to moonlight a shift or two, and we're going to work with you and us and see if it is a good fit before moving forward.
I love the practical. When it comes to the interview process, because you kind of just spotlight exactly what their experience is, but less through the words that they're saying and more through the actions that they provide during that interview.
Yeah, let's see how you're going to react to a bunch of people coming in through the door all at once, or pile of dishes.
You turn a tailspin or a Tasmanian devil. The second thing, everything gets a little bit crazy. All of a sudden, kind of throw your hands up and get beat red and run out the door, or are you going to be able to fight? Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So let's talk a little bit about struggle points. You've developed this brand. Obviously, you care. We've talked about the craftsmanship that you put into it. What have been the hardest fought battles for you in terms of the growth of your organization?
Yeah, I think, like many small businesses, and especially in the beverage industry, we are just strapped for cash, and never seem to have enough to take it to that next level. And that's a big difference with a small business compared to a larger scale distillery in this example, where they are able to come into the market with some serious marketing bucks, and it's all about getting your name out there, and having more face time, having more presence really helps people recognize the brand. And we've really had to grow that organically and through word of mouth. And yeah, we're doing some social media campaigns here and there, and we have a lot of events that we market through local channels, but we don't have that mass marketing dollar to get into publications or a lot of online marketing or radios and whatnot. So it's been a slow organic growth, and it's worked out for us, but it's definitely been challenging. And we have these small high-end products that are kind of niche, and they're high quality, but they're going to cost a little bit more than something that is produced on a much larger scale. So, communicating that value and that quality, and once people get it in, once it touches your lips, you can't get enough. But it's hard to be there each time to help communicate and make that sale or that interaction. So the companies that have a better presence are going to do well. And then, if our product's sitting there a few dollars higher than another one, where it's like, well, I'm just going to go for this cheaper one, and they just don't know what they're missing out on. So
they sure
kind
don't.
of slowly building that up it's been a challenge. And yeah, we always wish we could have a better presence out there, but we've maintained our brand with quality expression and interactions with our customers, and so hopefully that'll lead to bigger and better things in the long run.
Oh, I'm sure it will. Your it's a testament to your tenacity. Let's just call it that. When you can generate the business, or extend the business. The ultimate goal of any business is to continue running the business generally, or sell it. But either way, you have to grow it to a certain point in order to do either of those two things. But if the majority of the work that you have is from word of mouth, that's essentially a reflection of exactly what you've put into it, which is care, consideration, and actually being obsessive over the quality of the brand that you're putting out there in front of your market, that's awesome, right? It's commendable. I guess to relate when it comes the cash conversation, to relate with that. What was interesting, so starting this business was really difficult. We had zero opportunity to pull funds from anywhere. Banks turned us down, investors turned us down, people we knew with trust funds turned us down, so on and so forth. And a lot of it has to do with the saturation of the market, which is something I guess you've already alluded to in your previous conversation or previous parts of the conversation. But it was really difficult breaking in because word of mouth is only generated from tenure, right? You have to have time. So in the time that you spend without the word of mouth, really that just comes down to sweat equity and how much time or how much dedication do you really have towards it? How about, how focused are you on the success of this brand, or is it just a hobby, right? So excellent stuff there. So I know you've alluded to the community engagement and kind of building local roots. Can you let the audience know a little bit about those types of events that you do, and what it is that they're going to experience as they walk in if they choose to take you up on the offer of coming down for one of your events?
Yeah, well, thank you, Christian. We have a wide variety of products and events to try and reach different demographics of people. Just so many people with different interests, whether they're drinking or not drinking. And one thing that'll lead to is our non-alcoholic products, which I've brought up.
Would you look at that?
But, hospitality has definitely been a cornerstone of our business growing up in the South. We learned the importance of being warm and welcoming.
Southern hospitality.
That's right. It is
Belly's
does
full,
not have to
arms wide
be
open.
a cliche. It needs to be a way of life for us. And that is why we have a wide variety of products, but also different events, whether it's, a virtual tour around the world where we're tasting products, trivia on Thursday nights, or now we have a sober social this Saturday at 4:00 where it's like, hey, we've got these new non-alcoholic products, and we're trying to connect with a new group of people, or maybe some of our old customers who are no longer drinking, and providing new opportunities to connect. And that kind of goes back, like I said, to our Southern hospitality, but it also goes back to being an agile, small business owner where it's like, hey, I need to shape and mold to the marketplace. And if I want people to keep coming back in, I've got to keep things fresh. I've got to keep things interesting. And that's led us to change our business model into a pub. So we were just a distilled spirits plant where we manufacture adult beverages. But after the pandemic, we changed to a distillery pub, and that allows us to have beer, wine. We have a small kitchen where we have some light handheld foods. And that has really opened us up to larger groups of people. You know, mom likes to drink wine, dad likes to drink beer, and Lachlan loves a gin and tonic. So, you know, we're trying to have something for everybody. And, that leads to different celebrations, different walks of life. And I think that's been a really successful move for us.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're definitely playing to open up your market. It's pretty difficult to be in a niche category, right? With the amount of saturation in any industry. And if it's all, not to say that it's a bad thing. There's a lot of business owners that stick to the script. I mean, we had an episode on here about why Chick-fil-A has dominated the fast food industry, and it's because their 8-item menu options have not changed for 80 years, right? And it's because they perfected those things. But you do have to mold. You do have to shape. You got to be agile. You got to flow like water, right? Bruce Lee style, you know. But so. You definitely talk from the experience that you've created for yourself. I've been pretty impressed just at the responses that you're able to put out there, because it sounds like we could have a conversation for about 4 or 5 hours about, you know, our business ups and downs and those types of things. But we got to limit these things to the current climate of the ADHD viewer and how long they're willing to stay in tune with us. So I want to make sure we capture the good stuff. So the good stuff. Let's talk about what's your most favorite thing? Like, what's the best memory that you've been able to, you know, develop with this brand?
I think it is just some of the parties we have.
Yeah.
We have just had, and even recently, it's maybe not one in particular. It's a series of events where it's just such a great time. And it's not that everyone's getting hammered. I mean, people are drinking and have a good time, but it's just coming together with a large group of people, celebrating, whether it's a Rum Fest that's coming up. We have a big Kentucky Derby party.
Heck yeah.
In May.
Big old hats and all of it, huh?
Yeah, we do some harvest festivals where we'll roll out some barrels and tap some single barrel bourbon. And some holiday parties, of course, but it just seems like we're always able to bring some quality folks together, and they keep coming back because it's such a good time, and then we get new folks coming in, and I just think that is so fun for me, and I'm able to connect to so many people, and that's what I love doing, and that's probably the most rewarding is when I have a large group of people. I mean, that's a little disorder or a little, sometimes it gets a little wild, just like there's so many people. It's maybe slightly overwhelming, but that's when business is at its best. It's like, it's a little crazy and you got to hold on for life. But I mean, that's when it's
with a
like
cattle counter, like, are we past capacity here? Yeah.
Well, that's like, this is a good time right here. Yeah. And you can see it in people's faces. And, you know, when we're trying to have these little unique events where, hey, we're going to do a relay race or we're going to have a DJ in, and people just get so excited about that, and that's a lot of fun for us.
I would definitely jump in if you had some karaoke on one of those nights. I have a terrible voice, but I love to sing, so.
It's all about the presence.
Me and Neil Diamond get along. But, well, you know, that's just to kind of piggyback off of, like, what you said to your favorite part of running the business. It's one of the things that I miss the most. You know, we grew up in a little bit of a different generation. You had to go outside. You had to mingle with people. You had to do certain things. Now, social media, technology, and everything in between has essentially isolated everybody. I think the bar, I think that's the thing I miss the most, honestly, about the entire, my whole drinking experience was the fact that people from different walks of life all came in and kind of just accumulated in one spot for one specific purpose, and everybody's open to the idea of engaging with one another and sharing experiences or just chopping it up, making jokes, dancing, whatever it is, right? Freedom of expression inside of all that. But that's the thing that I miss the most. And I think that the bar, I mean, I can't think of anything right now, but I think that's probably the only place left in, Western culture where that's literally the idea, is bring in everybody and let's all focus on one thing, which is having a good time.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. And another segue into our non-alcoholic spirits that we've developed, and it's like, hey, it doesn't have to be just about alcohol. We are a family business. You were just saying, you were talking to your wife and the kids, and we've got 2 little girls ourselves, and they're always in there running around. And yeah, mostly it is an adult establishment, but we all have families and different walk of lives. And with the NA spirits, we're not pushing them on kids. It's 21 plus, but we're saying, hey, even if you don't drink, we have something for you. You can come in and have a quality expression. You can feel like you're having a great cocktail, and not feel like you're missing out or being any judgment is passed on you. It's like, hey, we want to have something for anybody, and hopefully it feels warm and welcoming.
You got that's pretty cool. You got the mini bosses in there, I'm sure.
My gosh, yeah. We had a employee picture. We had a staff party last weekend, and we all got together. It was amazing how many people were behind the bar for that photo. I need that photo, but
there were many.
I told Liza, my daughter, we did the staff photo, and she was upset. She was like, "Why wasn't I in the photo?" I'm like, "Oh, whoa, you'll get there eventually."
Yeah, my kids get all upset every time they see somebody in a uniform that they don't have a piece of or whatever. Whenever they come in here, it's pretty funny. I tell them, one of my kids, I got 3. I got one stepdaughter who's 12, and then I got a 6-year-old boy and a 3-year-old girl. But when the 3-year-old's here, I generally put her behind the desk in my office. It's like, the desk is facing directly out, so you can kind of see everything. Everybody knows that corner office is where I'm supposed to sit. So I put her in there, and I said, if anybody walks in here, all you have to say is, get back to work. And she does it every single time.
Great.
Yeah, and she loves it. The kids love it. It's it's a family-owned business, definitely an owner-operator type of business around here. And I think that's one of the things that we as smaller, maybe our brand or what we're doing is a little bit higher scale. I would say that not higher scale, maybe higher volume, or more cash in and cash out in any given month or something like that. But I would definitely call us both small businesses, specifically because it's not a scaled and replicated franchise organization. There's not a corporate head somewhere that's calling the shots based off a spreadsheet. I mean, there's a lot of personality and emotion that's always calculated and tabulated, and decisions are based off of how we as a unit are going to be able to grow together. And I always want the viewpoints. I want the thought processes. I want everybody to feel like they're foundational. They're foundational partner to the growth of the organization. And that's going to be one of the biggest things for me. I mean, we have growth goals that are going to take us far beyond a small business setting. I mean, assuming we're successful in that endeavor. But if we were ever at that point, I think that'd be the hardest thing for me, is just not knowing everybody on a very personal level, not being involved with every little thing, not knowing even the dramas that are going on in the background. I'll feel like I'm left out and I wasn't invited to the cool kids club, but it's, yeah, I think we should all band together, and I'm thankful that you're on the podcast, because I think small businesses should support small businesses. So you heard it here. I'll do a call to action. Everybody get down to Abbott and Wallace in Longmont. Have a good time with Mr. John here, and just become a part of his new memories, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, in supporting each other, we were. It was a no-brainer to reach out to you guys to finally get our roof fixed up from the hail damage last year. So just this past summer, we got a new roof on our house, and You guys did a great job. It's looking nice.
Love to hear that. Who's your account rep? I knew that we did the work. I just didn't know who was this. Oh,
There might have been a couple. I don't know.
yeah. All right.
Oh, we got it
Little
done.
history there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you can scratch that part from rewind. Anyways, well, I'm glad to hear that it was a good experience. That's one of our. So every year we set out to achieve a couple of new goals, and I'm sure you guys do the same. Last year, one of our main focuses was we wanted to double our commercial operation. We wanted to double, job opportunities and revenue generated with commercial business, so things that are not your single-family homes. And then on the side to that, we wanted to essentially make it our mission to perfect our service, our customer service. And in doing so, we integrated a whole bunch of additional layers of kind of a checks and balances so we can understand the feedback more often and we can get to things faster and more efficiently so that we can drive a better experience. So it's really cool to hear that it was a great experience. I mean, hopefully you're not just saying that because you're on the podcast. But either way, what are the main focuses for you with this upcoming year? You're in 2025. What are the goals?
Yeah, the new non-alcoholic products we have are definitely a major goal for us. I mean, just getting them out into the marketplace and having them tried and tested, and it took many iterations to get to this point. But really trying to get them into the marketplace. We're looking for a new distributor who has a large reach because we feel like this is a market segment that really has a lot of potential and is untapped. So that is definitely a big goal for us early in the year, and integrating that into our current sales platforms. We're able to sell this product across the United States. Unlike spirits, we can put it in the mail, get it to your door directly. So getting it on the website and having that.
That is a good point, and I didn't realize you could do that with. That's a hindrance. Obviously, you have to go through a supplier.
Huge.
You have to go through somebody who's licensed to be able to provide that. And there's a lot of layers and bureaucratic steps, I'm sure, to be able to just get your product in front of somebody. Yeah.
It is a major challenge, especially with larger brands with more money who have a better presence. And it's like, hey, we have this little product.
I kind of missed the mark when I was gonna. You should somehow plant this back in. Sorry, I would sometimes tell him. Make some edits, but that's that. When I was talking about the big brands with more marketing dollars coming in, our basically we just hit a fucking wall essentially. I shouldn't cuss so much on these things, but we hit a wall because nobody would give us any money, and you've got 20, 30, 40-year reputations that you're fighting against. It's a pretty difficult task. What we found in the commercial world, people are pretty dicey when it comes to contracting and just construction services. So the big brands who have all the money will essentially come into your market and lowball everything, purposely do jobs at a negative cost, literally in a negative margin, so that they win everything until it kicks everybody out, and then they jack their prices up. So they have so much money that they can actually support their team members to do that. So, long story short, competition is super fun, especially when people play fighting below the belt. So.
Yeah.
All right, John, show us what you got. What's going?
Do you have any interest in trying them out?
I don't know. I wouldn't mind tasting them. I mean, I might not drink a whole cup of it, so don't put a whole lot in there.
No, it's more of a tasting situation. That's quite all right. I wish I brought some mixers, but they're really designed to be put into a cocktail, and that's where we're trying to reach. Is so many people do try the non-alcoholic products, and it's like, well, it doesn't taste like whiskey, and it's like, well, it's hard to mimic something that takes years to make. That's a very complex thing, but once you put these products into a cocktail, they're delicious, and could fool me. I'm having a nice high-end cocktail. And that's the goal. So what you have in front of you right now is our Jasper gin alternative. And it's a zero-proof gin, 0 calories, 0 alcohol, but full of flavor. And it's modeled after our award-winning Alpine gin, which is juniper forward of course, but kind of inspired by our beautiful mountains out here, juniper, spruce tip, sage, lavender, some lemon to brighten it up. And we're using those same botanicals in our Jasper gin. And but instead of a alcohol base, it's a water-based distillate. So we're not removing alcohol, we're just avoiding it completely.
Gotcha.
And so technically it's like a hydrosol or a vapor distilled extract. And we're doing it just like we'd be distilling gin. And we blend those botanicals overnight, distill it. We have a little gin basket so it captures some of those essential oils. And we end up with something that's really nice, herbaceous, floral, and doesn't have as much of that juniper punch, but you definitely get some of that piney character coming through. And once you throw it into a gin and tonic or a bee's knees, or we have some really extravagant NA cocktails on the bar, it makes for a really lovely drinking experience.
Well, it sounds good. I just wanted to... Sorry, I'm away from the thing. I always do that. I forget I have to talk into the microphone or nobody knows what I'm saying. But if I know Lachlan already zoomed in on this, but you guys' branding is top notch. The look of the bottle, it looks like something that you would buy literally anywhere. It looks like it's on a higher shelf. It's pretty awesome. You guys doing a great job there.
Yeah, thank you so much. The look and feel of the brand is really important to us. We put a lot of effort into the juice and the spirits that go into the bottle, and we want that image to reflect that. I mean, often people's first impression is like, wow, those two look amazing. And I have to be like, hey, it actually tastes great too. You need to try it. It's not just to sit on the shelf and look
You're
pretty.
not just
it's
faking it till you make it.
Yeah. Grab it and put it in your mouth. But yeah, these are high-end products. I mean, they are priced similarly to gin, a regular gin. They're $35, $40 on the shelf, and you're like, hey, there's no alcohol on that. But I mean, our process is exactly the same. We are distilling this. We're sourcing delicious high-end botanicals, distilling it, processing it, packaging it, and selling it. And we want it to look nice, and it comes with that price tag. And but that's also really kind of similar to what other products are on the marketplace. So,
well, I'm excited to try. So you just want me to give it a little sippy?
Yeah.
Sippy in front of the viewers? Huh?
Let's start that transition again, like you're picking it up from him again. But let's have John give me a YouTube taste as well, so we can get
Okay, yeah.
just some profiles from you, because I know he's gonna taste differently, because he's gonna be like, "Ooh, it's good." But
Yeah,
you're gonna be
absolutely.
You're gonna be like, "Yes, I get hints of this." Blank, blank.
Smell
Highlight
it,
a little
wash
bit
it
more.
around. No, just kidding. That's wine tasting, right?
That's the idea. Because there is a douche type of way to drink, and that's what we like to do.
Well, definitely
douche.
not out of some solo cups here. This is the finest.
Yeah, I feel like we put we put like a Rolls Royce into a Toyota cover here.
My motto is that we craft our spirits for drinking, and if they're sitting in the bottle, they're not doing you any good. If someone comes into my bar and wants a whiskey Coke, I'll gladly pour it to them. That might not be how I drink it. I like a whiskey Coke every now and then, but there's no judgment. We just want people to enjoy it, and I didn't bring any cups, so the solo cup is going to work for us.
Here we are.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
So, I mean, right off the bat, you can smell it. I mean, it's just very herbaceous floral in this fine snifter.
You can really taste. There's a lot of flavor inside there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't have a matured palate like you do, but I'm definitely tasting the florals. Tastes a little bit minty as well.
Yeah.
Like is it spearmint inside there? Or is
I think you can get some of that from the spruce tip.
yeah, spruce tip or lavender. You said is in there too. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely lavender's
Definitely
coming
feeling
through. A
some
little
of
bit of
that.
sage, and we have some bitter roots to try and give it some earthy body to it. But yeah, you really get the
Smells
herbs.
fantastic too. Yeah.
coming through, and then once you
I feel like I should just pour a bunch of this into a bowl and leave it out on the table and let my house smell like that. Yeah.
I mean it's has a nice smell to it. The aroma.
Well, I dig it. I dig it.
And then once, like I said, once you get into a cocktail, it really adds some depth and flavor. It's not so many non-alcoholic cocktails. You can't call them mocktails. So many non-alcoholic cocktails are
mocktails.
Yeah, it can be offensive to the bartender, one who is crafting a cocktail,
Oh, okay.
or to someone who doesn't drink, and saying, "Well,
You mocking me for my life choices.
exactly." So they're
man, all the
non-alcoholic
feelings.
cocktails.
I didn't realize the feelings were integrated into that.
We're in the 20s now. Got to be conscious of everybody.
Yeah.
But it really gives another layer of flavor where so many non-alcoholic cocktails are like, here's a blend of juices and sodas or bitters that we've tried to make an NA drink for you. But this really tastes like a cocktail once you get it blended in there.
I could assume as much. I definitely might have to come down for an NA night. Yeah. So.
There you go.
All right. So what do we got next?
Then this is our Ember whiskey alternative.
Wow. Smells even better. It smells like licorice.
Yeah, there's definitely some anise in there, cinnamon, a lot of different bitter roots and herbs to try and give it some spice and some mouthfeel. And similar to the Jasper, we're distilling these botanicals, but we also make a tea tincture on the side that will then blend in to get some of the heavier compounds and a different kind of subset of flavors to blend in with our distillate. So we've got kind of the high-end essential oils and then more of a tea of the bitter roots that are bringing another hit of flavor. And now with hops, we found that the hops give it a nice mouth feel and a little bit of bitterness, but also give it more structure where it's hard to make a water-based distillate feel the same as an alcohol that has some texture to it, where the hops help us out just a little bit.
Getting real crafty. Wow.
Then on the end, you might notice it has a little bite to it.
Yeah. That right on the end, you have to breathe out.
Yeah, and it builds up a little bit, but a light spice. We add some capsaicin extract
Okay.
To give it that little tingling bite that you might expect from a real spirit. We add the capsaicin in there to give it just a little pop.
Yeah.
But not enough to upset your tummy.
Sure. Well, I want to give you a little bit of I don't know if I'd call it a public disclaimer, but any person that's watching, if you are on the end of I don't want to partake in the spirits, the traditional, alcohol-based spirits, I was a little nervous to taste these because I haven't had anything that even remotely looked like alcohol. I feel absolutely nothing in terms of I feel like shame. I didn't do anything wrong here, so I think everybody should join in and then try one of your culture events, or I call it a culture event, but your parties. Let more people come through the doors because this is something I think I could get myself used to. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, thanks so much. I mean, we have had those reservations from even my buddy. It's funny, one of my other best friends. He shares his sober anniversary. He's been sober for 12 years now, I think, with our distillery anniversary. And it's like, wow, here we are again. Some things change, some things never do.
Yeah.
But he had that same reaction where it's just like, I don't want to be kind of tempted with even something remotely alcoholic.
I sort of thought that if I got reminded of it, it'd start making me go down some kind of path, but I don't have any of those physiological
they're a pretty
responses here.
unique expression where you can see the inspiration, and you get a complex depth of flavor, but it's not alcohol.
Yeah.
And it's not trying to be alcohol, but once you get it into a cocktail, you can have that similar experience of having a high-end beverage in a nice setting.
You'll have to excuse
In a
us.
cultural event.
We're doing all kinds of construction in the construction office here today.
Yeah, hey, it's
There might be
fitting.
a bunch of pounding, so if any of these viewers don't like hearing it, maybe we'll try to get it out of there. But Well, all right. You want to do a spotlight on your Rum Fest? Kind of give a little pitch towards what you're doing there.
Yeah, so we're here in the middle of dry January, really focused on our non-alcoholic products. But as soon as February rolls around, we're into our annual Rum Fest. I believe this is our 8th or maybe 9th annual Rum Fest, and we primarily make old fashions, and we primarily sell bourbon and rye and gin. But once a year, we're like, hey, we're going to turn this thing on its head and be a tiki bar.
Okay.
And have some fun and do something a little bit different. And it's just so fun to dress the tasting room up, throw some fishnets on the beams, not on your legs, but on the beams. We decorate it all out with different tiki themes. And it's a classy, like, old fish wharf bar, not like it's painted neon with cheeky tchotchke. It's like we have some well-thought-out decor and well-thought-out cocktails. This is one of my favorite menus of the year, where these are some really fun expressions with a lot of exotic flavors. And it all kind of culminates in our Mardi Gras party,
Okay.
where we have the world's tiniest Mardi Gras parade. It's not so tiny anymore. I mean, last year we had like over 100 people, maybe a couple hundred people do the parade. And we have people dress up, and even some little small floats or like decorate a bike, and we parade around the block with a marching band. So we always have a local marching band that's
Nice.
that's jazzing around with us, and it's just a lot of fun. One of those cultural events where it's like, hey, let's get weird, let's dress up and have some exotic tasting cocktails, and people always seem to get excited about it. So it's a fun time of year for us.
I gotta have a good time. I never got to go to Mardi Gras. I probably will not go to Mardi Gras, to be honest, but I might go to your mini Mardi
Yeah,
Gras.
there you go.
Yeah, mini parade.
Yeah, have a non-alcoholic cocktail and march around the block with us. It is a surprisingly good time for everyone, and the kids are always a part of it. They love dressing up and rolling around the sidewalks with us.
That sounds like a good time. Well, you heard it from the horse's mouth. February. When does that start? So
Yeah, we're gonna start at February 6th, and that is just a couple weeks from now, and that will roll all February until Mardi Gras is, I believe, March 1st or 3rd. Maybe it's early March. So I believe our Mardi Gras party and World's Tiniest Parade is March 1st this year, Saturday, March 1st.
okay. So viewers, you have an assignment. You need to make it down to Abbott and Wallace twice at least. Once during Rum Fest, so you can see the cheeky tiki bar, and once during its full glory and its normal, high-end, beautiful, crafted cocktail and experience. I think that I really think I need to come down and try some of this stuff out. Maybe not just tell the viewers and do it myself. So
Yeah, we'd love to have you.
is there anything else that you'd like to plant or plug in about your organization? Things you want to tell the viewers, or just a couple of little topics that might have spun off of something we talked about before?
I mean, I think we had a pretty good, well-rounded discussion here. But yeah, I definitely just want to send out the invite for everyone that's listening. We're in downtown Longmont. We're surrounded by a bunch of small restaurants with a bunch of great varieties down there, and everyone's welcome. We've got our kids running around every now and then, but at nighttime it's definitely live music, couples vibe. It's just a good time had by all, and whether you're in Loveland or Erie or Boulder, it's not too far to come up and check out Longmont and everything that Abbott Wallace has to offer.
All right. Well, we appreciate you we appreciate you being here. And thank you for the good conversation. This was a good time. And also, I wasn't just saying that just for the sake of getting this out there on there. These taste phenomenal. The smells, you can taste the complexity and how much you put into this. It's a cut above. So
Yeah, thanks so much.
I appreciate you being on. So I guess that'll wrap up this episode of Into the Lion's Den. This is our first, I guess not first, but this is one of many attempts at making sure that our clients keep shopping local. Support your local brewer, support your local distiller, support your local roofer, and Let's get out there and have a great day. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please add that into the comment section. Please like and subscribe, engage in our content. And if you would like to have John back on to talk about anything else in his wheelhouse of experience, just let us know and we'll bring him back if he wants to make the drive.
All right.
All right, we'll catch you guys later.
Thanks so much.
Thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Into the Lion's Den. We appreciate your time, and we hope that you've gathered enough ammunition to go out, fight the good fight, and become a better person every single day. Please like and subscribe, engage in our content, ask us some questions. We'd love to tailor fit the next episode to you.